why can't we get them to get mad at us more often? I loved getting hate mail from a QAnon. That made my fucking day.
For people who don't know, 3 episodes ago we covered what was the story?
It was a yoga studios in Los Angeles.
That's a bold statement, Kevin. We covered something.
We covered it, and it was a case, and I solved it like I do all the other ones.
But yeah, so we covered a story about QAnon theories infiltrating the LA yoga community, and we got a hate comment on our YouTube that somebody removed. We didn't report it or anything. It just disappeared, telling us that QAnon was real. All the adrenochrome stuff was real, but QAnon had been corrupted, and we would find out the real truth.
Yeah, that we are living in a false reality. You didn't hear about this, Brian?
Well, man, I saw that. I recall saying that adrenochrome is real.
So the adrenochrome is real, and the way they harvest it is sick and twisted, I think they said.
Right.
Which I disagree with that. I mean, I feel like it's fairly humane,
I imagine, do you put like the corpses of children in olive presses? Is that that's what I imagine is happening, that it's a squeezing type thing.
Yeah, it's a squeezy type scenario.
Okay.
It's easier access for sure.
Well, are they already dead? Are they alive when you do it?
Well, I mean, do you want it to work or not?
Well, I guess if you want to live forever, that's...
According to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, you have to be alive.
I bet that adrenochrome tastes like the liqueur Malort.
Oh, no.
Was that a thing?
Yeah, it's kind of like Fernet.
Or LaCroix.
You think adrenochrome is a tasteless beverage, a beverage with a hint of something.
Right.
Okay.
That's a fun, like sometimes it's on a hot day, you don't want a soda, maybe just a little bit of adrenochrome will tide you over. That's just what the doctor ordered.
Why does it have to be kids?
Well, they have less value.
Well, okay, that makes sense. What do they really think though? What's the real thinking on adrenochrome? I'm gonna drop character and say that I've actually never had it. Yes, I will try it, but I've never had adrenochrome because I don't know where to get it. And I frequent a number of places where I think that if you could get it, it would be there. Some Hollywood 1% elite type scenarios that I find myself in on the reg, hanging out with fucking Mario Lopez, just, getting the hot gossip of what's going on all over Tinseltown. I feel like I would end up in a scenario where I would be offered, at least a shot. You want to do a shot?
Right.
You want to do a shot of Dre? That's what they probably call adrenochrome. I mean, I wonder, are we, when we're doing these adrenochrome shots, and I mean shots like, like shooters, like flaming Dr. Peppers type
it's a party.
thing.
Yeah.
Here's the quote from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Are you ready?
Okay, well, that's accurate.
This is what Hunter S. Thompson, who I think really introduced adrenochrome to the...
Is he dead?
Yeah, he's
they
very
shot
dead.
him in a cannon into space.
Okay.
So he, when writing on the topic, said, there's only one source for this stuff. The adrenaline glands from a living human body. It's no good if you get it out of a corpse.
Why does someone have to die to get that?
Because as soon as you extract it, it might as well be from a corpse, right? Like,
I think you can live without adrenaline.
Not me. I need it. I feel the need for speed. Yahoo! Rock and roll.
Mark is our resident medical expert.
Mm-hmm.
Can you verify that, yes, is adrenochrome a thing? Yes or no? Does it in fact
adrenaline
exist?
is a thing, and therefore...
Okay. Yes.
And I fucking live off of it.
Well, you can't, just because it sounds realish.
I'm an adrenaline junkie. Everything I do has an element of danger to it. And if it doesn't have danger to it, I will immediately fall asleep.
I've seen it happen.
So I'm constantly pushing the boundaries, testing the limits, challenging myself. Like even just little things, like if we're walking down, let's just say a set of 3 stairs, I'm going to jump it, kick my legs up and touch the wall as I'm jumping down them.
Wow.
That's why I don't walk, I parkour.
Do you also wear Heelys when you is this the Heelys?
I'm trying to get some new ones made. I'm supposed to get a signature model Heely.
Are there pro Heely? What do you call people who they're not Heliers? Heliotropes?
You know what's sad? What's really ironic
Helists?
Is that the one person who could never Healy is Jeff Healy. I'm pretty proud of that, you guys.
You need to hang on. That's
why you're the king of the zingers.
Yeah, that's right. For
all hail,
really
long live the king.
Really desperate. Those are two references that the Venn diagram of people I can get to know what those two things are at the same time and process it to get a laugh might just be within this Zoom.
Yep. Well, that fits perfectly with our marketing plan of complete and total alienation.
Yeah, that's true.
We need to change that logo. International News Service, complete and total alienation.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
So it doesn't have to come from children, right?
No, it has to, because that's the most pure form.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
No, is this scientist, Mark, or is this I read it somewhere, Mark?
You never hear about a kid getting super strength adrenaline and lifting a car off their mom. It's always the mom that lifts the car off the child.
It's not strength adrenaline, it's fear adrenaline.
Oh, is that different?
Yeah.
I feel like adrenaline's adrenaline.
This is once again, I'm doubting. That sounds horrible. I don't think there's two strains. I think adrenaline's adrenaline, right?
It is easier to scare little kids, though. That's for sure.
Right.
It's like foie gras or whatever that stuff is. What's it called?
Foie gras. Hello.
Y'all ever had that foie gras?
What is that? Goose liver ground up?
Yeah.
I'm sad to report that I have, and it is very good. And I will never have it again, but I did have it, and it was quite delicious.
You want to go see a movie Wednesday?
I do. Pig, yeah.
Oh, you said Big. I was really excited.
Big?
I see that.
Big, a repertory of Big.
Oh, but isn't that not okay to show anymore because Tom Hanks has intercourse?
Because he's an adrenochrome drinker.
Is that?
Oh yeah, he's one of the ones.
Oh, is he? Is he on the list?
He's on the list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then why is he getting so old? Why isn't it working?
Yeah, why isn't it working, Kevin? Defend your people.
They're not my people.
You're the ones that interact with them on the internet all day.
That's right. You're the only one we call dumb bird brain.
Yeah.
Woo!
You're the one that spend your days and nights typing to them.
Mm-hmm.
Let me sing you guys a song I wrote. Hold on. What do you think?
What?
That's how I'm gonna get a mate.
It's interesting.
Oh, you really? You were demonstrating your bird brain. I don't know what to say.
You're laughing now, Brian, but wait until you see her. Nicely preened feathers.
Yeah.
You keep thinking you're on the last rung to the top of stupid ladder, and there's just another step.
Yeah.
We can keep going, fellas.
We can keep going.
And you realize the ladder is infinite.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to INS, the International News Service, your source for the most important weird news from across the globe. With news analyst Kevin Harrison, actor, comedian, and musician Mike Wiebe, and professional commentator Brian Camp. INS, the news you need.
They say hi.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I brought you water.
Thank you for bringing me water.
Well, don't steal my cup.
You can let her talk to you that way, Mike?
It's not. You don't own anything in this house.
You mumble a little more quietly.
I bought and paid for everything in this house. Why don't you go do work on an Afghan?
It's really putting her in her place.
Why don't you go do some crochet stuff and make me some baked Alaska?
What is baked Alaska?
I'm gonna guess because of its name.
Mm-hmm.
It is a hunk of human shit put in an air fryer.
50% true.
All right, let's do the news. God damn it.
Welcome to the International News Service. We're your hosts. I'm Kevin Harrison, along with...
I am Brian Kemp.
I'm Mike Wiebe.
Got confused. What happened?
I'm just pissed off. Oh, and down below with us, back from a world travel experience where he went to a town and was forced to put on a bag over his head, and they put a live rat in there. And when they shook his head around, and then when they pulled out, the rat had actually combed his hair and made him look really nice, and he was friends with the rat. Mark Ryan.
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Mark.
You never really finished. How else was the rest of that vacay?
yeah.
Oh, it was just delightful.
Did you get to eat any good food?
No, I just shoveled trash into my mouth for
Like a raccoon.
5 days. Yeah. I ate like a raccoon. That's how my relatives eat.
Raccoon update.
Oh, is there an update?
Oh, shit.
I told you did I tell you I caught a baby raccoon?
It was a couple weeks ago.
Let it go. Now, so then I decided to bait it up again. I'm going to get ready for another raccoon. I baited a piece of, which was what I did last time to catch the one raccoon. I got a paper towel, put peanut butter on it, put it right on the trigger for the trap. This time, an opossum figured out how to reach its little opossum hand in and pull out and eat it all. And so I walked out there, and the opossum just looked at me like, what do you want? And I named the possum Gumball.
That's a good name for a possum, man.
I think so.
Yeah. You can be friends with Gumball the possum.
I don't think Gumball's going to try and sneak into the house. So I'm like, that's fine. But I just put my hands on my hips, like in a very like Elizabeth Berkley Bewitched kind of way. I went, Gumball.
It's Elizabeth Montgomery.
Cult. It's about the occult.
Witchcraft.
Do you think there were any ding dong Christians who were like, "We gotta get this witch stuff off TV" when Bewitched was on?
I'm sure, 100%. I Dream of Jeannie.
Well, I Dream of Jeannie, I think, was probably more controversial in that she was showing off her belly button in public. Oh my God!
Yeah, she was banging Major Healy. Or wait, which one's Major here?
I remember being mad at him because he would be like, "Oh, Jeannie, I don't." I'm like, "You should just be fucking her all the time in the jar. Put me in the jar. Let's fuck inside the jar. Oh, let's get out. Let's go fuck somewhere else."
Were they not married?
They got married.
But Elizabeth Montgomery, she was just a up and coming wife lady. She was a lady of her time. She didn't dress scandalously.
Mm-mm. She just marshaled the powers of the dark arts she received from laying with Satan.
That's why Paul Lynde got his too.
I think she was maybe based on or Bewitched was maybe based on that movie Bell Book and Candle with Jimmy Stewart and Kim Novak, and I think Jack Lemmon, where it's just like, oh no, we're normal people, but we're really secretly witches. And then Jimmy Stewart, I think, falls in love with Kim Novak. Is it Kim Novak? Anyway, I don't know. None of this matters. Just cut this.
Nope.
God
nope,
damn it.
This is all staying in. And who falls in love with Paul Lynde?
America.
That's true. That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
The center square.
Was he ever the center square, or was he?
I'll tell you what other center part I like.
Yeah, Jimmy Stewart falls in love with Kim Novak.
It's a good one.
But unlike Vertigo, he doesn't kill her at the end. Mm. Oh, spoiler alert.
You're a real dick.
I've done a number of things that caused me to have vertigo.
less vague, but still safe. Still, the censors are okay with you, sir. You are allowed to say that. Are we going to talk about the news?
So, Mike, you've been to Cleveland, right?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
What are your thoughts on Cleveland generally? Cleveland drivers.
I find that Cleveland drivers are pretty much the same as any other drivers anywhere, in that they are, they're all right until I have to be somewhere and I'm mad at them.
Well, our next story comes to us from Fox 8 in Cleveland.
Fox 8, are they the Foxy 8? Do you think they say
the
that?
Foxy 8.
The Foxy 8.
All 8 of us have engorged nipples.
It's a very specific Cleveland fetish.
Yeah.
The Foxy 8.
Police officers recently responded to a car crash in Beechwood, Ohio, where a car had run a red light and was struck by another car, causing the car to spin out of control before knocking down several power lines, a utility pole, and then crashing into a house. A 31-year-old woman on the scene approached the officers and told them she was driving the car and that her 11-year-old daughter was in the front seat. A review of the traffic cameras also revealed the woman's car had been traveling at speeds of 100 miles per hour.
Ooh.
Police did not detect any sign of impairment from drugs or alcohol on the woman, but she volunteered that she's been going through some trials and tribulations. So
the girl you're talking to know about a flood.
So she intentionally drove at that high rate of speed and through the red light to, quote, let go and let God take the wheel.
Been there, sister.
She also told police she believed she did the right thing.
I feel like somebody would have got hurt if she had done the wrong thing.
Right.
The woman now faces multiple charges, including felony assault, endangering a child, and driving under suspension.
How was she endangering the child when she literally said a prayer beforehand?
True.
Yeah,
Who's the felony assault to?
I mean, it hit her, but it was kind of inevitable that it would hit her. And maybe the house.
Well, that's not assault. You can't get an assault into a car. Cars aren't people. Neither are corporations.
I think it is. If I were guessing, it would be that the car was a deadly weapon that injured another person, even if that injury was just pain or disfigurement.
Cars are not weapons. They are tools, like guns or knives. Tools. When are people going to get this out of their head? I'm sorry. Can I call liberals people? Is that even accurate? Here is a regular religious lady who's not done any
regular.
She's not done any drug or alcohol, and she is putting her money where her mouth is. She's walking the walk, which is something that we talk about in Sunday school every Sunday and Wednesday. We have Sunday school on Wednesdays as well as Sundays.
That's fun.
And it is a nightmare to book because there's the names. I think this is another classic example of the persecution that is going to happen to Christians in this country if we keep allowing TV shows about witches on TV. If we keep allowing reruns of Bewitched, this is exactly what happens. It starts to demonize Christians. We start allowing Bewitched, Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. What's another show with the witch? Ellen.
The sitcom or the talk show?
Both.
Do you think there's a direct connection between the show Bewitched and this woman's decision to drive 100 miles per hour on what appears to be a residential street?
It does sound like some trick that a sneaky relative witch might have placed on someone.
Hagatha?
It does sound like something like that. I mean, maybe she has some sort of gothy witch woman in her family, and she was trying to outrun the curse. So she prayed to God. She put the pedal to the metal.
Right.
You know, you don't know someone else who prayed to God and put their foot down to the floor? His name was Bo Duke. And guess what? He saved Hazard County countless times. Countless.
Mm-hmm.
And we honor him on the flag. One of those stars is his.
Wait, the American flag or the Confederate flag?
I call it the General Lee flag.
I think that's also a name that would indicate to everyone exactly what you're talking about.
Well, I'm tired of the persecution of, a lady who probably just wanted to get to Sunday school on time.
Well, it was at midnight.
Right.
It's a long drive. Where maybe she goes to Sunday school in a different state.
She's on her way home from Sunday school, maybe.
Exactly.
You'll be happy to know, Mike, that no injuries were reported in the crash.
I'm not happy to know because I already knew that when I heard that she prayed. Because guess what? God don't make. And the answer is no trash.
Did anybody say anything about trash?
What is a mangled, ripped up corpse if not a bunch of flesh trash? And God don't make no trash.
Flesh trash. You need to make a movie named Flesh Trash. I would watch that.
Well, yeah, I guess, the conclusion to that story is being a white Christian is the hardest thing anybody can do in this country.
Is it a white lady?
Yeah,
I think we heard the story.
All right. I think we did.
So our next story comes to us from Science News.
Great. So the last story that was all true, this story's going to be all lies.
We'll just see what the science
I don't know. Okay.
Right, we'll see what the
determines in
science.
this, and then you can draw your own conclusions.
If it's Christian Science, I'll accept it.
All right. What's going on in Science News? Is that the name of it? Science News?
Science News.
That's a stupid name.
Clever, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking.
We got news about science.
We're going to describe the subject matter and then put news after it.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's ridiculous. Only a fucking jackass would do that. That's all I'm going to say.
Who's the editor in chief's name?
Right.
Is Boring Egghead.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Science News has been around, I think, since the 1920s.
We're going to tack news onto something, and all of a sudden it's a thing that we can talk about.
This is the section of Science News where we tell you about the best pocket protectors.
It's sort of like international news service. Or?
I don't know what you're talking about, Mark.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah, we a service that covers all news, not just fucking nerd bullshit.
I love these pants because my slide rule fits in the pocket.
I have a stain. I have an ink stain on everything that I own because I love to write calculus.
Equations.
Scientific studies of dog behavior have shown that dogs will return favors to other dogs.
Logarithms. Right, Kevin? You remember that one, Kevin?
I like to know where a gerund is in a sentence.
I don't think that's grammar.
It's tacking ing onto a verb.
It's the science of words, Kevin.
Grammarology. Look it up.
There's science in everything.
Dumb bird brain.
Take anything that you like. Music. Let me make it boring and explain to you why the notes work.
I love that this guy is just 2 steps away from writing his 6th Wolverine movie. Just if his voice was just a little bit lower.
No, he's definitely a guy that's like, here's why Wolverine can't be real. Because fun ideas are no good.
You could never graft metal onto bone.
I've gone to comic conventions where those guys stand out in front of the convention and yell at all the people going inside. They're worshiping false idols.
Do they debunk comic books? Because
well, you're worshiping false idols, so you're not worshiping Jesus.
I like the idea of somebody screaming about how flight couldn't possibly work the way they show it in comic books. Just screaming about different principles of physics and how no person could lift something that outweighs them that much with that little leverage, no matter how strong they were.
Performative fucking ding dongs that do that, man. I remember that. It's such like a weird What a weird thing to get into, to go to concerts and stuff and yell at people.
I hope those people are right, because you don't sink to the point in your life where you just stand on a corner and yell at nerds all fucking weekend long, all day in the hot Texas sun.
I fucking love it. That's one of my favorite things.
without just your life going incredibly wrong. Like, they need a win.
I can imagine a scenario where that's quite a bit of fun.
Yeah, but they're not having fun doing it.
You're probably right.
I think next time that happens, I would go like, hey, man, I will not go see this concert if you will take me to Denny's and get me some food and tell me all about your sky god, your sky wizard.
So basically what you're saying is that God is kind of like Galactus, but he just chooses not to eat the world?
I'm gonna need Jesus explain to me strictly in Marvel Universe terms.
It's the only metaphor you can understand.
So, like, essentially, the Last Supper was basically like the Avengers getting together and talking about how they were going to defeat Kang the Conqueror. Okay, that's pretty cool. I guarantee you some youth minister has gone like, if you think about it, the disciples, they were kind of the first Avengers. They avenged death. They avenged the depths of hell. That's what they do.
Terrible toothy smile.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what they did. His name was Paul, and his superpower was being friends with Christ.
You wrote all them letters, right? No,
yeah.
Paul did.
But I guess Pontius Pilate, he was kind of like Loki. He wanted to be a good guy, but he was just a bad guy deep down.
But he was forgiven, wasn't he? He was still forgiven.
He was forgiven because Loki tried to be a good guy in the end.
Scientific studies of dog behavior have shown that dogs will return favors to other dogs by giving food to those dogs. That dogs will also help their owners when they appear to be trapped, and dogs can distinguish between helpful and unhelpful people.
Yeah, Benji the Hunted. So what? We've seen it.
Was he in Chomp? Was Benji in? Well, first of all, was Benji a he? I don't want to make any.
I think I think Benji was a he.
Was he also in Chomps?
No, that was Chomps. That was a different dog. That dog was a robot.
Did Benji play Chomps? Well, yeah, I think. But did Benji?
Yeah, Iron Man's not a real robot, Kevin.
Jeez,
what?
He's Robert Downey Jr.'s.
This is science reporting. This
is a science report. Let's stick to science.
Benji could have been played by a girl, but in the movie, it would have been a girl dog playing a boy.
In today's society, it probably would go that way. The way things are going.
A new study sought to determine whether dogs would give treats to humans as rewards for good behavior.
Publicly funded research costs the taxpayers a lot of money. I'm sure that this is necessary.
Can you come up with a better dog experiment, Brian?
I don't think that's the question.
Exactly.
How far can they fall and survive?
You may have to cut that, or we're going to lose a lot of listeners.
No, everybody knows Mike.
I'm kidding. I love dogs. I love dogs. I have the second most amount of dogs in the INS news team.
That's true.
It is true.
I can confirm.
I mean, I know you love that movie, The Adventures of Milo and Otis. I only think there was one dog in that, but how many?
Say that, but I don't think we'll ever know. How
many cats were in that movie? Even though there was only just.
I mean, people always say like 8,000 or whatever, and I don't think that's true.
Was it because the cat died?
That's what everybody says, but I don't know. I don't feel like that the cats were. There's like one scene that yes, they for sure illegally threw a cat off a waterfall, but you see it. I think. Like come up and be okay, which not cool for sure. But all the other scenes are just like kitties and puppies like romping around.
Well, Dudley Moore goes, "Hello, Milo. Hello, Otis."
Arthur?
Yeah, but I'm just saying that. Yeah. I'm saying that like I don't know what scenes because the popular rumor was always like they killed 97 cats and 17 dogs to make that movie. And like, I just don't know what, other than like going out of your way to mistreat the animals. Like, I don't see, and that one scene off the cliff, which is again, not cool, but it looks like the cat made it okay. But I just don't know.
Because there's another shot of it.
No, I haven't watched it in years, so I can't testify to.
Dudley Moore was an animal hater, right? Didn't he? Maybe that's what happened.
Drunk,
yeah,
just a blush of an alcoholic.
I got just
horrible drinking problem.
Drunk, and then handled those animals too roughly. He just wanted to pet them,
and he married Liza Minnelli, who was daughter to Judy Garland, who used to date Andy Rooney. Full circle, motherfucker.
That's another step on the ladder. That's pretty great.
So where, I have no idea.
Talking about science. You're
okay. To do this, researchers at the University of Veterinary Medicine, Vienna, trained pet dogs to use a button to get food from a nearby dispenser. Each
Vienna
button
sausages
was then given to a human who pressed the button to dispense food to the dogs, while the dogs were given a second button that would dispense food to the humans. Then each dog was paired with another human who never pressed the button. However, when it was the dog's turn to offer food to the humans, the dogs were no more likely to press the button to provide food to the helpful human than they were for the stingy one.
I hate stingy humans. Can I just say that right now?
No.
I'm pro dog on this whole thing.
Is that what this is about?
They treated the stingy humans the same way they treated the helpful humans.
So the dogs aren't recognizing the innate kindness of humans.
They can tell with me.
Oh, yeah?
What do they tell?
They can just tell that I'm an animal guy. I just have sort of a real,
Animal magnetism?
Yes. Grr, baby.
I wonder how many people they could have fed instead of funding this pointless research. Is that part of the story? Are we going to hear about that? About all the money that was wasted on
all the Viennese, all the money that could have been used to produce Vienna sausages?
Mm-hmm. Well, they had a lot of dogs.
I mean, it was done in Vienna. That's their only food source.
Did they feed the dogs Vienna sausages?
Probably.
Okay, wait. I don't know what happened here.
Do we need to go through the whole thing again?
Just explain it to me.
Okay.
In a way that I can understand.
Okay, so the dogs are given a button, and then if they push the button, they learn that if they push the button, food comes out.
Okay.
So then that button is given to a human, and so they see the human push the button, and then food comes out.
Yeah.
So then they give a second button to the dogs, so that the dogs can see that if the human pushes a button, they can push that button and then give the human food. So the human's giving the dog food, and the dog's giving the human food.
And the dogs figured this first scenario out so far.
Well, I don't know about that. But then they brought somebody in who had the button, and the dogs saw they had the button, and they never pushed the button. And the dogs were not
more or less likely to give food.
More likely, to give food to the person who pushed the button as they were to the person who didn't push the button. Like, it sounds like they didn't really push the button.
The dogs couldn't figure it out.
Well, so scientists determined this could be one of three things.
Maybe they couldn't figure it out because they're dogs.
Well, yeah. Well, so scientists, they give me one of three things. Either the dogs were all jerks.
No.
Or
that's not it.
Or they aren't able to understand the complicated tit-for-tat social contract that was being established between them and the humans. Or, and I think that this is the most likely one in my opinion, the experiment wasn't designed well, so the dogs didn't understand what they were being asked to do.
Yes, that's 100% it.
Well, maybe we should do it again. Maybe we should redesign this experiment. And
I know 3 dogs we could get. I'm just saying.
Yeah, my dog's blind though. I don't know if she's ready for this at all. I mean, she's going blind. She's not blind yet, but she's...
So she can see a button.
Doesn't hear real well either, right?
He's deaf. Dogs are wonderful creatures, and but there's just some stuff like I also wouldn't have them do my taxes.
Maybe you should write a university and see if you can get some funding.
I leave that to a clever raccoon.
Or a possum, more likely.
A possum, yeah.
After they stole your PIN number, you let them do your taxes? That sounds like trouble, Mike.
Honestly, they made me money. My capital gains are honestly better.
Remind me what capital gains are again?
That's a term.
Well, it's like when you eat a bunch of creatine and your pecs start getting swole. Imagine that, but money.
Wow.
Yep. I like to break things down in a way that people can understand them, you know.
Yeah, pretty like I did with that experiment.
Fitness guys.
Oh.
Well, you know, I don't know. I would be happy to run this experiment if somebody would pay me to do it. I'd have a lot of fun and I get to pet all the puppies. I'd probably pick a bunch of pugs.
Pugs are unhealthy animals though, right? Have they been bred to...
I mean, the smokers, the ones that smoke are. You try and take a smoke away from a pug. Their whole thing is looking like they smoke cigars. They all look like Ernest Borgnine. So
they do. Is he dead?
Yeah, he's dead.
You sure?
I'm 100% sure.
There's a crazy thing that he said, Ernest Borgnine, he was on this talk show, and he's easily in his 80s. And because he lived really long, like I think he was lived into his 90s. But the talk show guy goes like, he said something to the effect of, you seem so you're so youthful despite your age, and you're still out doing stuff all the time. What's the secret to your success? He's like, ha ha ha, I can't say it on the air. And the talk show host goes, oh, ha ha, well, come on. And then he leans in and says quiet loud, because he still has a mic on, I masturbate a lot. And they just kind of like, but it's such a weird, wonderful talk show moment. Maybe we can find it and put it on the...
Our next story comes to us from the Daily Record. I couldn't figure out, so if anybody wants to write in to internationalnewspod@gmail.com, whether I should use this source or not, I couldn't figure out if the Daily Record was a Scottish newspaper or a Scottish tabloid that was in a tabloid size, or a Scottish tabloid.
Are we sure it's Scottish? Because I'm not sure they can read. Haven't we?
Well, they can hear. They can ask somebody Irish to send an email for them.
All right.
In July, a rookie police officer in Glasgow, Scotland, left her station around midnight when she noticed an object in the sky following her. She believed it was a drone and tried to lose it as she drove towards a shopping complex, but eventually reported to headquarters that she was being followed by a drone and couldn't lose it. The officer was told to return to her station, where she would be met by a senior officer. The senior officer found the rookie standing in the police yard with her hood up, trying to hide from the drone, which she pointed out in the sky. The senior officer then looked to where she was pointing and explained that the drone was actually Jupiter, a planet some 365 million miles away.
Oh, that's crazy that that planet would be after her. Did they figure out why?
Well, a police source told the paper, quote, everyone was quite concerned, so you can imagine the red face and embarrassment felt when it was pointed out that the bright light following her was a planet millions of miles away.
Well, I'm sure they were all embarrassed they didn't take her more seriously.
Yeah, I mean...
More seriously.
Well, did they figure out if, like, somebody was controlling the planet? Like, who was running the planet?
Right. Like, why would Jupiter be mad at her?
Who's controlling Jupiter and having it follow her around?
Oh.
Or maybe just obsessed with her. Maybe anger's, an assumption that we shouldn't make.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a stalking type situation, which is a real problem.
Mike, have you been followed by a planet? Have you, a celestial body, ever followed you around?
I did have a galaxy that was sniffing around for a while.
Yeah.
Didn't you have the satellite train following you?
Oh, I did see that. I did see the Elon Musk's space satellite train, and I did think, wow, I think that's a UFO maybe. But then I honestly was like, this is so uniform, and that I was like, I've never seen anything like this, but I don't know what this is, and I had to go get online and figure out what the heck was going on. And I was listening to a podcast about UFOs at the time, so it was
you
all
ate
the
really
more
spicy food the night before.
Yeah. And then actually a friend of mine actually like hit me up and was like, I'm seeing UFOs like a year later. And I was like, they look like this? And he was like, exactly. And I was like, bad news, bud. It's just Elon Musk's tribute to Grimes.
Do you think we'll see space advertising in our lifetimes? Do you think we will live long enough to see?
The thing is, I think we'll be at augmented reality before that would be necessary. So you could just in like your augmented reality lenses, whatever the fuck those are going to be, you know, you look up and you see geomarked in the sky some big billboard, unless you pay extra.
Listen to INS. Right. Don't forget to listen to INS.
Mm-hmm.
You dumb fucking idiots.
I've already got the deposit on that, especially the dumb fucking idiots part.
Mm-hmm.
I think even when we get at that like real global scale, we should still be real jerky to our.
Yeah, it's worked so well so far.
It's not gone bad. If somebody sent a very sweet message saying that we make their day every week and that they laugh at what we do, that we're lightening someone's day, and if they you know, whatever,
every week.
And if they, you know, I would say their name, but I didn't get, or at least their handle, but I didn't get permission. So
a good person.
And as you all know, I don't do anything without permission.
Yeah, that's your trademark.
Written permission.
Playing it safe, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so our last story comes to us from UPI, United Press International.
Rivals of AP, Kevin.
AP?
Well, no, this is UPI. But
the rival to AP.
Yeah.
As I said.
Okay. The side note to this
bitter rivals
is that UPI absorbed the original INS in the 1950s. They're the OG international news service.
Oh, okay.
They held the mantle for us all these years. Staff at the New England Wildlife Center's Cape Cod branch recently noticed that Arnold, a Canadian goose who lives in a nearby pond, was limping. An inspection of Arnold's foot revealed 2 fractures, so they took him into the center for surgery. As they prepped him, staff began to hear a tapping at the door. It seemed that Arnold's mate, who wasn't given a name, had tracked him down and tried to get inside the center, probably to nag him. You can cut that part, Mark. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's misogynist.
That definitely has to remain in.
Mike and Brian would never stoop to that level.
No, but I want everyone to know that you would.
The center wrote on their Facebook page, quote, "She had somehow located him and was agitated that she could not get inside. She remained there throughout the entire procedure, watching us work, never moving from the doorway," unquote. After the surgery, Arnold was left by the doorway to recover so his mate could see him, and the center wrote that she immediately began grooming him through the door. The center also said that a snapping turtle or other predators may have attacked Arnold while he was swimming, and surgery was his best chance at survival.
Well, that's the most lovely story we've ever had here on this show. We should probably do more of these more. A final story.
Feel good.
And local news, a squirrel who's taking a calculus class. Okay. That's a very, what do you call that? Human interest. That's a human interest story.
Sometimes you got to, give people a little uplift at the end.
Is it human interest if it's about an animal? Isn't it?
Oh, fuck you.
I don't think I deserve that. I think I just brought up
You're right. I'm sorry. I'm a little riled up too after Kevin being so misogynist to that.
Yeah, he normally keeps under wraps. It's like it's a part of him that he hides, and when it comes out,
there's a reason why I'm the only single member of the podcast team.
Well, I didn't know that about gooses, and I didn't know that about Canadian geese, and that's a lovely tale. It'd be nice if I had someone in my life that cared that much.
Hey, wasn't your wife on the podcast earlier?
Yeah, just yanking liquid water away from me, yelling at me for not using the right cup.
No, you put her in her place. We heard it, so
I know. Yeah, well, I did that too. Don't tell her about that part of the podcast, because I don't want her to get reminded. But she heard, so she heard, so she doesn't need to hear it again. Is what I'm saying.
I think that wraps up another week of the International News Service. Feel free to reach out to us at internationalnewspod@gmail.com. You can find us
on our socials, which I really loved getting that fucking that message. I don't know why I swore during that, but I really enjoyed getting that, and so did the guys.
Yeah, every time, I'm not making this up, every time we get a review, we get a message, we get anything, we always share it. It makes all of this worthwhile. So feel free to tell us how much you either love
the balloon thing, I'm telling you,
or hate the show. If you're a QAnon follower and you hate us,
please
reach out. We want to hear
exactly
how wrong we are.
Yeah. That's right.
You'll really set us straight.
We need more stupid pieces of shit in our life.
We might change our minds.
But it's probably going to happen. Find us on our socials. It's International News Pod most places. It's INS Pod a few places. But check us out. Let us know. And if you would, please subscribe, review, rate, and tell a friend about us. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.
Or any one of those three. It doesn't have to be all three, right, Kevin?
Could be any one of those three.
Okay.
But especially if you can, tell somebody about us.
Just grab them and just give them a big French kiss.
Get real close.
And get real close. And then after you pull away, and they'll be surprised. Making sure it's somebody you've never shown any romantic interest,
but you've known a long time
whatsoever.
You want to get lightheaded because you're exhaling and breathing the same air for so long.
Yeah,
that you start to get a little faint.
And you pull out, and there's one string of saliva that goes from your mouth to theirs. And try not to break that string of saliva. If you do, that's okay. But make sure you maintain contact and go, I want you to listen to this podcast. It's called International News Service. It is changing my life for the better, and I think you'll really enjoy it.
Excellent.